Now, no.
Okay.
Okay.
So, want to start recording? So, I'll be leaving.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mr. Gospel, I hope we are set now.
Yeah, I think we are
All
okay.
right.
Is
All right.
my audio perfect?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay.
All right. We are all welcome to today's session on the Africa Scholarship Pathway platform. We've been having these sessions for a couple of weeks now. And to the glory of God, I believe it's been very helpful. I believe it's been very insightful as well. So as many of us as have need for these opportunities. Last week, we were opportune to have an associate professor of Black Studies, as well as a doctoral student and a master's student from the USA come to share with us about some opportunities for both graduate studies and then scholarships, and how to position oneself for these opportunities. And it was a very, very eye-opening session. And today again, for the next 1 hour, we are going to be taking a look at some more opportunities for graduate studies and scholarships in Europe. A couple of weeks ago, we looked at the United Kingdom and the opportunities that we could find there as much as possible. But then today we are going to be looking at Europe, the Eurozone, and maybe a bit specifically, we'll be considering the Erasmus scholarship. So we have with us today Mr. Godsfavor Amanekwe, and he's going to be our guest, or he's our guest for today's session. He's going to be taking us through these opportunities in Europe, and with particular reference to the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. And for about 30 minutes, he will be giving us his presentation. And then after that, we're going to have a time for question and answers, which should be around 30 minutes as well. Okay. When he starts, he's going to tell us more about himself and what we need to know about him and how we can contact him or reach him. And then before going into his presentation. So you are all welcome on board once again this evening or afternoon, depending on what part of the world you are in. And we hope to have a very great time. So Mr. Godsfavor, it's over to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Like, I feel it's so nice to have such platform in existence where people can come out and share what they know, share their experiences, especially, and also be like a guide to others who want to probably achieve what they have achieved, at least in this particular case of academics. So my name is Godsfavor Chibueze Amanekwe. I am a nuclear fusion physicist with a BSc in physics from University of Nigeria, Nsukka. And I'm currently doing a master's program under the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship Scheme in University of Stuttgart, Germany, with my parent university as University of Marseille in France. So everything that I mean, in the next 30 minutes, I'll try to just give a short presentation, and I hope it is short and understandable enough. Based on the number we have here, if there's any need for interactions to come within the presentation, I'm going to initiate that. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, just before you proceed,
okay.
In case as we are listening, if you have any questions, you can just note them either in the YouTube comment section, or if you are with us here in the room, in the Zoom chat. Then, like you said, if there's going to be a need for interactions, he will facilitate that maybe toward the end of the conversation. But just note your questions and drop them in the comment sections, and we are going to pick them. And then please do share the link for the meeting. We have pasted the link to the meeting on the WhatsApp group chat, and I believe on Telegram as well. So you can share the link and invite the person that you would want to invite, or remind those you need to remind that we are live already. Okay. Sorry for cutting in. You can continue.
Yeah, no, there's no problem. So I'm going to quickly share my screen, yeah. And then we move on as quickly as possible. So can we all see? Can we see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So it's African Scholarship Pathway. Yeah, that's the program that we are on. Yeah, and every other thing has been said. So the scope of this, I'll try to do a brief introduction, and then we'll also talk about education in general in Europe. And then we'll also talk about scholarships, and then we'll have a summary with some kind of question and answer session. I think this should be brief enough and should contain what we need, at least to some extent, to know in this session. So as a means of introduction, talking about graduate school or even undergraduate school, we have a lot of questions to answer as human beings. I think the first question should be, who are you? That's it. You should first of all know who you are. That's it. If you are an engineer, you should know you're an engineer. That's it. And then who you are. When you know who you are, then you can decide on what you are supposed to do or which opportunities you are supposed to be chasing. That's it. So you should first of all know who you are. That's very important. And then you should also know where you are, because your environment, sometimes your environment and who you really are might not match. So this introduction is just to maybe give us what really is the motivation to going out for studies or seeking for scholarship or something like that. What really is the motivation? So sometimes who you are may not match where you are, especially at the moment when you are judging with where you are at the moment.
You say waiting.
I think.
Why?
You can go ahead. It's mute now.
Okay, it's mute now. Okay, so sometimes who you are doesn't match where you are. So these considerations can spike you to decide or to make a decision to reconsider and think stuff through. And then you also look at where do you want to be when you see where you are, when you look at where you are, and then you look at where you want to be. Then if it's not the same place, like if the locations do not match, then you have to take a step. And who do you want to become? Yeah, there's a typographical error there. Who do you want to become? When you know what you want to become or who you want to become, then you can now decide where you have to be. So for me, these are questions I asked myself, even during my days in undergraduate studies, these were questions I asked myself. I actually sat down and asked myself these questions, and the answers to these questions were like a guide to me. And I just decided to share them because these were the questions I asked myself. Yeah. So what goes on when we talk about graduate school applications, whether Erasmus or any other form of graduate school, what actually goes on? There are some steps that we take. First of all, we have to consider. You have to first of all consider your environment and consider all these things. This is what I've shown in the introductory slide. The considerations you have to take: who you are, where you want to be, where you are, and who you want to become. Those are considerations that you have to make. So you have to first of all consider. Then with the considerations, you then decide what you want to do. You can decide you want to apply for scholarships, and there are many factors that involve this decision. And some of the factors that affects the decision is what we might be discussing today. And also in these stages, that there are different aspects of this stuff, and there are different needs that you have along this stage. If you go through these stages, then you most definitely will get something at the end of the day. First of all, in making those considerations, there are some things you need. You need maybe a mentorship program. You need mentors. You need to discuss with people. You need network. You need many things that you need when making considerations, because that is what is going to guide you. You need programs like this to listen to actually understand that, okay, there are opportunities out there, and this is how to go about the opportunities and stuff like that. And then you need to make your decision. You need to decide what you want to do. That's another part. And after deciding, you have to make research in whatever way. The research might be coming up to programs like this. It might be going online, checking the internet and stuff like that. Within that research period, you develop yourself to match what you want to achieve, and you build network, you meet people, you discuss stuff like this with people. That's another part that is very important that you have to take note in. All this may sound like too abstract, but it's not abstract. It's just for you to like apply it to your own personal self. Then you have to actually organize. You organize yourself. That stuff you need to organize, and we'll come to those things. The organization will involve your own personal development, getting your finance right, because finance is very important. I know why I'm saying all these things at the beginning, because I don't want to make scholarship or whatever look so easy to everybody. It's not that easy. So I want to make it so obvious that it involves some kind of critical work. It's not easy for everybody. Yeah. And then I've been talking about network all the while, and I'll keep talking about it. You also need to build your network. And then when you are done with this, what you have to do next is to start applying. And the funny part about this is that when you start applying, you still have to keep doing all this first four stuff that I listed here. You still have to consider, you still have to make decisions, you still have to research, you still have to organize yourself. Because as you're applying, you might get rejections, you might get acceptance. And when you get those things, you have to still go through this process again. So this is like a mental process that everyone that goes about scholarships application has to pass through. Like it is just a compulsory stuff. In my own case, I stayed alone for about 2 months to go through this phase. In my own case, I had to stay alone for 2 months rather, to go through this phase. Some people stay alone for more than that. Some people don't stay alone. So it depends on what works for you. So it's not that it's just so straightforward and you just go, it's not as straightforward as people might make it sound to you. It actually involves you to work. But the good thing is when you start, it becomes easy. That's just a good thing. Once you have beaten that friction or that reluctance or inertia, as it is called, it becomes easy because things will just start flowing. I think people that are already involved in this can already attest to what I'm saying. Yeah, so I will just go directly to talk about what education generally is in Europe, because the introduction I gave is just like a general overview of what might be going through mentally or psychologically to anybody that is applying for scholarships generally. Those are points that you have to actually take and questions you have to ask yourself. That's why I saw it important to talk about those things I talked about. Now, this is just like a copied map of Europe. It is actually, I think, one of the smallest, maybe the second or the smallest continent in the world. But it actually has, I think it has the highest amount when it comes to funding. Like it has the highest amount, availability of funds when it comes to funding. I think it's like the top. And many countries are there. And maybe the highest, should I call them funders or sponsors of education, probably Germany and France. Yeah, but many other countries involved are also fund education. They take education in this region very seriously because research and development is what, in short, research is what drives their economy over here in Europe. So they take it so seriously. Yeah, and this is basically where I am at the moment, somewhere in Germany, somewhere in the, I think, southern part of Germany. So in some of these countries that you are seeing here, education is totally free. In some of these countries, I just put them out so that you can actually see that there are many countries there. In some of these countries, education is totally free, like masters. I mean, in short, for example, in Germany, public education is free from when you are born to PhD. It's free of charge. So, but many people don't know, understand? Well, it's actually free of charge. You get funded from when you are born to, so they're putting so much money into education because they know that they get a lot out of it. So that's just the point I'm trying to drive at, that there are many options, a lot of options, but we'll also come to the issues that we might have in applying to some European countries. Yeah. But for now, just to make it clear that you have a lot of options, you have Italy, you have many options there. And in some of these countries, education is like free or very cheap, something like that. So the problem is not really about the cost when you're in. I think the problem is getting in. That's one problem. And the second problem is actually completing the education when you're in. So, but the cost when you're in studying is not a problem at all. It's not a problem at all. So funding during studies is not a problem. Getting in is a problem. And then finishing the studies is the second problem. So that's it. Yeah. So I will just go talk about some scholarships that exist within Europe. Although the UK is not part of the EU anymore, but I won't talk much about UK scholarship because from the introduction that the admin gave, it seems like there was already a program that discussed UK scholarships, I think, sometime last week or so. So
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
we talked about, I'm sorry, we talked about cheapening Commonwealth scholarships. Although, if you have some extra information to give about that, it's quite welcome. And as well, if anyone has any questions about those two, because those are the only two that are particular, I think, to the UK. So if anyone has any questions regarding those two as well, you can bring them up. It's not out of place.
Yeah, thank you. So in my own case, when I was applying for graduate school, out of I tried DAAD. DAAD is like the scholarship scheme peculiar to the German government only. Like the German government has like a scholarship education scheme where it funds the education of people from different parts of the world. They have allocations to different countries where they like pick scholars from those countries, give them like a project, maybe in master's and also in PhD, I think, but mostly master's, and then fund them in their studies for some stuff like that. So this is like basically for Germany. Now for our own case, if let me narrow it down a little to Nigeria. For Nigeria, the DAAD scholarship, I think, is connected in a way to the Ministry of Education in Nigeria. I think it is advertised by the Ministry of Education, and you have to like apply you have to apply through the Federal Scholarship Board under Ministry of Education, Federal Government of Nigeria. So that's something you have to like take into consideration. And you have to remember, I think they always advertise for it every year, I think. And it's quite competitive, but a lot of success stories come out from it because a lot of people get into this scholarship scheme. Yeah. Because there's like heavy funding for it, because it matters a lot to the German government. Yeah. There's another scholarship I didn't add here. This one is from the Hungarian government, Hungary. It's called, I think, Stipendicum, I think. And it's also advertised through the Federal Scholarship Board of the Federal Government of Nigeria. So the website of Ministry of Education in Nigeria is a very important website when it comes to some of these scholarships. So it's very important for anybody to keep FSB. I think it's fsb.gov.ng. I cannot really remember, but I think something like that. Always keep that Nigerian website, like keep it handy, because over there you see they're always like advertising for stuff like this. I don't know if it's similar for other West African or African government education websites. I don't know, or ministries. I don't know if it's like that, but for Nigerian government, I know that in FSB, some of these scholarships are being advertised and many people don't know about it. So the first stuff I want to say is that people should like keep this website handy, and just occasionally just check it, and you see what they have there, both for undergraduates and also for graduate school. And then I'll talk about Erasmus Mundus, which is actually the program that I am currently on, which somehow I kind of know more about this than other ones, because I'm actually on the program. Like, it's obvious I should know more about this than other ones. Erasmus Mundus is a scholarship scheme that is designed by the European Union. Yeah, European Union, countries of the European Union, where students are funded to study, and it's majorly for masters. It's majorly for master studies. Majorly for master studies, yes. The unique thing about Erasmus Mundus is that you don't spend. I think you don't spend. You spend time in 2 countries at least. I think it's always a 2 years master's program. And for some Erasmus Mundus programs, you stay in like 4 countries, 5 countries, you travel a lot and stuff like that. But that's one unique thing about Erasmus Mundus. So the application for Erasmus Mundus scholarship is quite different from, it's quite different from normal applications for other scholarships, because this one is not about, it's not just about what you study in school or or a central website. There's no central website where you go to and say, okay, I want to apply for Erasmus scholarship, and then you enter and you just apply. You know, in Commonwealth, there's a website you go to and then you apply. The same thing, I think, in Rhodes, also in JAD, you just apply. But in Erasmus Mundus, there's no one single website where you just go to and then you apply. That's what makes it very tricky in doing Erasmus, in applying for Erasmus Mundus scholarships, because there's no single website for it. Why is it so? Erasmus Mundus scholarship has, instead of courses, it doesn't deal with courses. Like, there's nothing like physics, biology, chemistry. That's not how the scholarship is organized. You understand? It's organized by projects, or what is called program-based organization. So in Europe, there may be a problem they're trying to solve. So there may be a problem. For example, in my case, the problem they're trying to solve is the issue of clean energy, something like that. Clean energy using nuclear fusion. This is a problem that the whole world is trying to solve. So what the European Union does is they create a program just for that problem. You understand? And they fund that program. They fund the program, and then they connect universities from maybe 5 different countries to organize this program just to solve this problem. You understand? So everyone then the program, like those 5 universities, come together and create a website just for that program alone. So if you are searching for Erasmus Mundus scholarship, you don't just search Erasmus Mundus scholarship. No, you have to search for the program that you're actually looking for. So in my case, there's a particular website for my own program specifically. You understand? So when I was applying, I had to go to that program to apply. So that's how the application goes. But the lucky thing for us here is that there is actually, even though there's no common website, there is a common database where all these programs are compiled. So this kind of makes it easier, because in this way now you just go on that common database. It's called the catalog, Erasmus Mundus catalog. You see the different programs that exist there, and then you check based on your interest and based on your expertise what you are going to be interested in. So in my case, on that Erasmus Mundus catalog, I was able to see programs on nanophotonics, on imaging. I saw on nuclear fusion. I saw on astronomy. These are physics-related programs. And then I applied for the ones I was interested in. Yeah, and I actually applied for only this program, which I am in currently. So that's how it is. So maybe what I'm going to try to do, I'm trying to see if I can show. Try to see if I can show. I don't know. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm trying to help. So this is what the catalog looks like. Okay. Just give me some seconds. Let me plug in my laptop so it doesn't go off.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think we are good. Yes. So this is what the Erasmus Mundus catalog looks like. What you have on this page.
We are still seeing the PowerPoint slides.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Oh, okay,
Yes.
let me see. I'm coming. Yeah. Can you see the, are you seeing something different now?
Yes, we can see the web page now.
Yes. So this is what the catalog looks like. So you can see this is like the agency that is in charge of education and culture in Europe. And then you see Erasmus Mundus Masters Opportunities for All with scholarships. Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters. Yeah, another thing I forgot to mention, which I can mention now, is that in Erasmus Mundus scholarship, because you spend time in different universities, you actually get a master's degree from those different universities. So is like you are getting a master's, but you're also getting like a diploma, an extra diploma from any university you spend your time in. So it's like you have like more qualifications or something like that. So it's actually a double master's degree because you spend 1 year in one place and another year in a different place, at least. But if you spend, for some people it's 3 months, some people it's 6 months and you get like a diploma from each of those different countries. So it's like an advantage because you get to see different culture and you have extra certifications for spending time in different places and learning in different places. So this is what the catalog looks like. Actually, this is not all the programs on the catalog. There are more than 193, but so this is an example. European Master in Tourism Management. Yeah. You know, for people that are studying stuff like, let me say, courses like archaeology, for example, or history in Nigeria, sometimes it becomes so difficult to actually see opportunities to apply for history or archaeology abroad. I don't know if you have applied for scholarship before, you will notice that you see more opportunities under science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Yeah, this is a fact. But somehow in the Erasmus Mundus program, there are like categories for people coming from this background. For example, if you studied archaeology, tourism, history, even economics, you are very likely to get into this program. And you can see that this program has like its own website. So you see it has its own website. If I want to go to the website, I just click on this and I go to the website. That's what I was trying to explain the other time. Yeah. So I hope this is like clear to everyone when I say it is program based and not just based on courses. It's actually based on a program. So within that program, within that program, they list the kind of persons they want. They may say, we need people from computer science background, physics background, engineering background. They may say they need people from archaeology and history, all these background combined. So in that way, most of these programs are actually interdisciplinary. You understand? So when you say an engineering program, don't be scared that you studied physics because they need physicists actually in the engineering program. In short, the slots are kind of divided in a way. You understand? When you say an engineering program, don't be scared that you studied computer science. You can still apply because they need that extra knowledge. You understand? So that's just how it is. So it makes it interesting because you meet other students from different backgrounds working on the same problem. So the scholarship is like a problem-based scholarship. So and it makes it interesting in that way. Yeah. I have to go back and see. Let's see. Okay, so I have to come back to this. Yeah. So that was just to like illustrate what the Erasmus Mundus scholarship looks like. I think the Rhodes Scholarship is peculiar to the UK. I don't really know much about the Rhodes Scholarship, but I know one or two persons. I think I know one person at least who is like a beneficiary of the Rhodes Scholarship. And I think it's peculiar to the UK and it's good. Then the last and important part of this slide I want to talk about, because this is where we talk about the scholarship itself, is this special institutes, because people don't really like pay attention to special institutes. Special institutes, some institutes, for example, in Germany, have special funding. You understand? Now, these are not universities, these are just research institutes. They have special funding and they accept students. Example of those institutes might be Max Planck Institute and Helmholtz Institute. So you can, why I'm saying this is because it can help you as a guide when you're making your research. You can go online and search and be like, okay, institutes in Germany, not university, or institutes in France, research institutes in whatever, and their funding. You can also search this way, research institutes in humanities, location, Germany. You understand? You can search like that. And you see institutes actually also fund people's research. They can just bring you in and you work under their institute and you do your master's with them like that. Because the way everything works here is, I don't know, it's like Europe is like one country. That's how I describe it. Europe is like a single country, something like that. You can be studying in one country and decide to do another semester in a different country. So it's just very mixed. So you can be in an institute and be registered in a university, but you are working with the institute. So, and the institute is the one funding you. So it's just, sometimes it can be complicated, but it is also beneficial because that's how it helps them to drive their economy, and it works for them, so it's fine. Yeah. So that special institute aspect is very important. So when you're searching, you can also search along that line. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I was supposed to change this to kind of documents you need for scholarship applications. In general, one very important document you need, I don't think there's anybody that actually I've not had or seen anybody that got a scholarship or admission per se without having his or her transcripts. Like, it is so very important. And when you see all these documents, then that should tell you that you need to start on time to like get these documents in place. So you need to have like your transcripts in place. You need to have that and apply. Different schools in Nigeria or in Africa have their different procedures for getting their transcripts. This is a key. We will not talk about this because this one you have to make your findings yourself and also discuss with other, maybe mentors. These are questions you can ask maybe when we have Q&A, or maybe later in the group, in the Telegram group or something like that. Then proof of language proficiency. You have to take exams like what's it called, IELTS, TOEFL, yeah. In my case, I didn't take any of these exams. I didn't. There's this letter my undergraduate university gave me, that's UNN. There's this letter called the Proof of English as medium of information. Now, this letter is like a letter that attests to the fact that you did your studies in English. So some of these scholarships can accept that letter in place of some of these exams like TOEFL and IELTS. So in my case, I was able to get the Erasmus Mundus scholarship using that letter alone. Till today, I've not written anything called IELTS or TOEFL. Yeah. But it's also a plus. If you can write it, it's also good. Then you need a certificate. You also need a CV. The kind of CV you need is what is called the academic CV. Maybe we can show samples of this, yeah, later on. And then you also need some essays, statement of purpose, personal statement, motivational letter, depending on the program that you are applying to. My own program, I was asked to provide motivational letter, yeah. But for some other programs I applied to, especially in the US and other places, I was asked to write some statement of purpose or personal statements. These are different kind of essays that you should write to do this. And for some people, writing essays are just so easy for them, while for others it's difficult. But if whichever category you fall on, once you practice, it's about practicing. Once you practice, then you should not have problems. Writing statement of purpose is different from writing normal English essays as an English student. It's totally different. There are pros and cons. There are ways you need, there are things you need to learn when you're writing stuff like this. Yeah. It's different from writing literature exam. It's a different ball game entirely. There are stuff you need to know to actually write stuff like this. And these are things that maybe within the group, in the Telegram or WhatsApp, or with your mentors, you can ask questions and you can learn about how to write this. You can see samples, can ask for samples. People can give you their samples, and then you see how they write, and you develop your own unique way of writing also. And that's it. And then another thing you might need, which gives you an extra advantage, might be published articles. Yeah, because published articles actually show that you are actually in the process of doing something in the research field. It shows that you are busy. Yeah, because they actually want to see that you are busy. Apart from you having skills, you need to also be busy. So this is like a kind of proof that you are busy, kind of stuff like that, and that you have experience, some form of experience in research. But nevertheless, even if you don't have published articles, it is not a problem. It's not a problem. Excuse me. It's not a problem, but it's an advantage. So if you can get that, that's fine. And recommendation letters, this should come from lecturers, sometimes from your boss at work, if you are working. Recommendation letter, most times you need 2 or 3 of these. Yeah. And these are important, like very important, very important. It's very necessary to at least maybe get like 2 lecturers that know you and that are willing to write well for you. And yeah, that know you and are willing to write stuff for you. So it's very important you get those. Just get them handy. That's why it's good to keep good relationship. Yeah. And then you also need your international passport. I mean, for you to travel, you need international passports. Yeah. But this is not the most important thing per se, but eventually when you get the scholarship, you need international passport to apply for visa. So that's it. That's it for the basic documents that you need to actually apply. So this is like kind of the basics. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. I'm actually at the end, and or let's say the second to the last slide, and just like a summary and also Q&A. I will ask my questions first, and maybe answer the questions I ask also. The first question I'm going to ask is language, is there a language barrier? Is there actually a language barrier? You know, in Europe, you have most of the countries are not really English-speaking countries in terms of official language. I don't know if you are following me. Yeah, in terms of official language, for example, in Germany, the official language is German, that's Deutsch. Yeah. But the good thing about Europe is that almost, I don't know, I've forgotten the statistic, but a good number of Europeans know how to speak up to 3 languages. That's one very good thing that I have actually discovered amongst them. And I actually saw the statistics, but I cannot remember the actual figures now. Yeah, but you see, you meet a European, he knows 6 languages. This one knows 7 languages. This one knows 5 languages. This one knows 4 languages. I mean, within Europe. And most times English is one of them. So most of this, in short, all of these Erasmus programs, for example, are actually done in English. All my lectures are in English. So the lectures are not a problem. I actually don't suffer. I don't suffer going to class. Maybe the only problem you might have is maybe the intonation, because most of the lecturers you might have, English is not like their first language, something like that. But over here, you still see lecturers from maybe China. For example, one of my lecturers is from China. You still see lecturers from different parts of the world. So you might even see an African, yeah, lecturing you. So language might not really be a barrier in terms of the education itself. Where it might be a barrier is maybe when you are living here, going to buy things, and yeah, in that case, then you need to start learning the language a little. I mean, yeah, just for day-to-day survival. But up to now, I don't really know how to speak. I don't know how to speak German, but I'm still surviving. I'm not dead. I'm buying stuff, I'm eating, you understand? So language is not a barrier. I cannot call it a barrier. I see that an opportunity to learn something new, yeah, to learn a new language. And that's what Erasmus, another advantage. In every country you go to, there's a compulsory language course that you must do, something like that. So in that way, you end up getting more language proficiency to add to your CV, which is quite good. It's an advantage. So another very important aspect that people don't really talk about is rejection inevitable? I don't know why I forgot to put the question mark. The truth is that it is not inevitable. I don't think I've met any person on scholarship that wasn't rejected. I don't think I was rejected. In short, all the schools I applied to in the US rejected me. So yeah, all the schools I applied to in the US, they actually rejected me. But it wasn't a problem, because that was my first year applying, and it was what I used to learn. Actually, my first major application I made was to a school in Austria, and it's called I think Institute of Science and Technology in Austria. Yeah, IST Austria. And the application process was very wonderful, and I used that to learn a lot of things. I got a good grade in the application, but I wasn't accepted because people are many applying for this stuff. Some of them have been applying for 4 years, 3 years, you get. So so rejection is not inevitable. But one important thing is that it should be like a motivation for you. That's why I'm saying it now, so that you expect to be rejected. So people will not say, some people will not say this part. They will just make it look like it's just easy. Once you apply, you just get. No, it's not like that always. You get. Rejection is maybe a constant. Let me put it like that. It's almost a constant. You definitely just expect the rejection. That's just it. So that's why it's good to start on time, so that as you are being rejected, you are learning and you're improving. So see it as a normal part of the learning. Yeah. Then the final stuff I wanted to ask, are there financial aids while applying? No, people only talk about financial aids when you have been accepted. You understand? So now I want to ask this question. Can you also get financial aid when you are applying? Now, in some cases, yes. There are some schemes that actually pay for some of these exams that you need to write. For example, you might need to write TOEFL, you might need to write IELTS, you might need to write GRE. There are some schemes, some special scholarship schemes just for sponsorship for these exams that help you to apply. An example is the Michael Taiwo program, I think. Another example is iScholar. iScholar, they pay for your GRE and your TOEFL and your IELTS. So you can apply for those ones, then they pay you, or they pay for this stuff, and then you write these exams, you get to then get into the stuff. So if you don't have money for GRE or you don't have money for IELTS, you can also go through that route. So it's like applying for a scholarship to fund your application to apply for a scholarship. So that's how I explain it. Yeah. So these are questions that I know people might not ask, but based on my experience, I'm asking the questions and I'm also answering them, because it will be important to people that hear it. Yeah. So I think this is where we end. I don't know why my thank you for listening is shifted one side, but there's no problem. Thank you for listening. Yeah. Thank you for listening to me. This has been a wonderful, maybe half an hour or 40, 45 minutes. I don't know how long I'll take it. Yeah. So that's it. I think I'll stop sharing my screen at this point.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I believe it's been a very informative session for me. So I don't know about the rest of us listening in. And we appreciate you for the time and for the detailed presentation. Even quite detailed. Okay. And especially about the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. Like you said, it can be very confusing to a lot of persons who from the outside are trying to understand the kind of system that scholarship runs. And it's good to have somebody that is on the inside giving all of the insider information and clarifications. And it's certainly going to be a lot of help to anybody that is trying to apply for this scholarship, maybe from scratch. Okay. So we really appreciate the session and for you making it that detailed and clear. Thank you so much. So, okay, we already have a hand being raised. If you have any questions, please do well to type them now in the comment section on YouTube. We are going to come to those of us that are here on Zoom very briefly, unless we do not have any questions on YouTube already. But if you have any questions, because we do not have too much time left, I think we have about 15 minutes, okay, to go. So quickly type in the questions and we are going to take them as soon as possible. In the absence of, okay, I'm not seeing any questions on YouTube yet, but please do type them in. Since there is no question here on YouTube yet, we'll take the question from the person that is raising his hand here on Zoom.
I think I can see a question in the chat already.
Here on Zoom?
Yeah, on Zoom, I think.
Okay. Someone is asking here on Zoom, what is the link for the iScholar? I believe that should be the link to the website where you possibly apply for the iScholar scholarship.
Okay.
Then another question.
Okay.
You can take the two together. Please, how does someone pay the application fee how does someone pay the application fee? Okay, so you can take the two together.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me see. What is the link for the iScholar scholarship? Yeah, I think it's not something I can say or I can just type in, but if you are going to join in the Telegram group, I think we can share that there. Yeah, I think that it was just concluded the iScholar initiative for this year, and successful candidates we already have been selected already for this year. You understand? So what you can do is we share the link. You look at how the iScholar stuff works, and then you work towards next year to apply for it. That's for that. If you cannot wait till next year, then you can actually still fund your stuff yourself. I think Michael Taiwo is actually on now. I think Michael Taiwo, which is a kind of similar scheme that pays for your exams, like iScholar. So I think Michael Taiwo should be what will be more important to you now, because that's the one that is currently on. So we're going to include it on the group on Telegram. You understand? I cannot type it in now. And then the second question says, how does someone pay application fees? Okay. Now, application fees, which is something I forgot to mention. For Erasmus Mundus scholarship, you don't need, I don't think there's application fees. There are application fees for that. Even JAD, there's no application fees for those. Application fees are mostly when you're applying for, let me say, direct master's program or direct PhD programs, especially in schools in the US and also in some places in Europe too, I think. So, I mean that there are different ways people pay. Sometimes people pay on their behalf. That's not. It's not a problem. It's not really a problem. You understand? Paying application fees. But another thing again that I want to point out is sometimes you do not really need to pay for you don't need to pay application fees. Sometimes you need to just write a letter to them and apply for an application fee waiver. Because some of these schools actually waive application fee when they see that you're not capable to pay the money. For example, if you are coming from a background that you're not wealthy to pay that money, you can actually send them an email and applying for an application fee waiver. Sometimes they honor it and they give it. Yeah, when I was applying to some schools in the US, I actually got waivers for 2 different universities, specifically just for me alone, because I actually asked for those waivers. Actually, one of them nearly gave me admission, but later discovered that they're not giving admission for that year to students from Africa yet, because that was like a new program. That was a new program as at that time. So that was how I lost that particular admission. You understand? Yeah. So you can actually apply for application fee waivers, just to say that. But if you want to pay, there are ways of paying, which I cannot really explain because I'm not expert in doing that. But you can pay through the bank. Payment of all those things are not a problem, in my own opinion. Yeah. These are things we can talk in the group also. Are there any other questions?
Okay, yes. I was scrolling through the comment section. Someone confirmed that the Michael Taiwo scholarship that is for the, I believe, IELTS or GRE is on already. Someone else said it started on the 26th of June. Okay, for the person asking for the link to the Telegram group, we will post it here shortly. Or if you're on the WhatsApp group, it's going to be shared there as well. Okay, on YouTube, we have a couple of questions. We have someone asking, please explain more on the student CV. Okay, I think our guest tonight talked about sharing a sample of a student CV. I think what we'll do is we are going to ask him to share a sample or some samples of student CVs on the WhatsApp and Telegram groups so that you can just take a look at it, see what it looks like. I believe going into that now may be quite time demanding. See what it looks like and how to structure it, adapt yours to it, and then if you need any further guidance, you can reach out to him or any other person amongst us. Okay. Another question. Good evening, all. Please, I need help on these requirements, specifically the transcripts and the letters. I believe that should be talking about letters of recommendation. The transcripts, I'll just sieve through any of the questions that can be attended to quickly and then refer any others to you. So the transcripts for the transcripts are basically things, it's something you get from your school, okay? So you need to apply to your school registry or thereabouts. There's usually a process for every institution in Nigeria and every other country. So you apply and get them from your school. Usually there is supposed to be a copy you can have for yourself, even though some schools that you apply to, not too many schools, but a few schools would request for what they call official transcripts that you have to, that have to be sent to them directly from your former institution. It's quite expensive usually, but most schools, the overwhelming majority of schools would accept your copy, what they call a student copy, which they'll maybe send to you in PDF format, and you have it with you. You use it to make applications to different schools. So when you need your transcript, I don't know if you're an undergraduate, you just need to write to your school or just follow through the process, pay for it, get a copy, and then make your applications with it. The letters of recommendation, you need to get in touch with people that can write those letters on your behalf, lecturers, professors that have taught you before, academic staff generally. Sometimes they even request for, or they can make do with non-academic recommendations, depending on the program that you're applying for, or they will ask for a mix of both. But most times it is the academic recommendations that they request for because you're doing an academic program, of course. Okay, so if you need any further clarification, for the sake of time, you can reach out to us, to the guest. We'll still ask him for his information where you can contact him on, or you can ask a question on the group or to any of the admins on the group. Okay, someone else is also asking about CV, curriculum vitae. I just touched on that. We'll share samples of an academic CV on the groups. Okay, a link for the Zoom meeting. The link is on the WhatsApp group. You can join via the WhatsApp group. All right.
I think someone also posted the link to the WhatsApp group on the chats. So in case you're on Zoom, you can connect through the chat.
Yes, and then on WhatsApp, the link for the Zoom meeting is. Please, can you mute yourself? Okay, I'm trying to look for the last question on YouTube. Okay, someone asked, can one apply for undergraduate or just the graduate programs? Okay, I think our guest can pick up that.
That's an oversight for me. Yeah, you can apply for undergraduate admission. You can do that. What may become your problem now when you make such applications is that sometimes to get undergraduate admissions, which are English-speaking programs in Europe, and it is not so easy. You understand? You know, undergraduates is like they're picking people from high school and then they're entering the university for the first time. So most programs they have for undergraduates are in non-English languages. You understand? So maybe native languages of those countries. So you might not be so easy to get such. But people still get, because actually I see Nigerians, I see Africans, around here, and I see some of them doing like an undergraduate program and stuff like that. And in general, education is free, so it's actually nice. It's just that if you are going to do an undergraduate program, you might need some form of German language proficiency. It's not that you have to be like very good in German, no. You might just need the basic. I think A1 is the basic. Just being able to greet and stuff like that. You might need that to boost your success in the application. Even though your program is in English, you might just need to maybe do a short German course when you are still at home, something like that. Example of institutes that organize such courses, the Goethe Institute, GOECHR. I'm going to type it in the chat now. I think, let's see if I can type it quickly. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I can type it quickly. Yeah. Goethe Institute actually are involved with German language. And then you also have the French Language Institute in Abuja and Lagos, I think. Those ones can also teach you, maybe you can learn online for like 3 months, and then you get the first basic certificate that can help you to apply. Also, different embassies have such language institute like that in Nigeria. So you can check for those. If Europe is what you're actually after, you might maybe need those basic. I think Goethe Institute for the first class, I think is around 100K, I think, for that basic one, 100K. And it's a plus. If you can have it, it's actually a plus. You can use it to even apply for normal visa. That is not even through education route. So yeah, it's a plus. And it's also good for your CV too, because you can also use it to apply for jobs in Nigeria. So like, that's why I said with that first slide, who do you want to be? Do you want to be like a multilingualist? Do you want to know many languages? So it just depends on you and what you want, you understand? And some of these things, when you learn them, don't learn it because you just need it for this particular stuff. It's important for other things that you don't know. You don't know where you find yourself in the future. So this is like, I don't know if there's any other question, but if there's no other question, the way I would like to end is by saying that I once told one of my friends when we just finished the university, I was telling her that she should start applying for scholarships. She was scared that she wasn't going to get accepted. But I told her something that for me, like my own interest for her is not just for her getting the scholarship. Applying for scholarships generally develops you. That's just something I've noticed. When you apply for scholarships, you just, I don't know how it happens, but you just develop, like you just improve in different aspects of your life, maybe your presentation or in this case, language. You just learn, you see skills you need to improve on. So you're like improving and developing to meet this opportunity. You're improving and developing to meet this opportunity. So even without getting the scholarship, you might even use those skills to land very good jobs. So don't see it as you're just doing this. This is like a total self-development on its own. So that's what I like telling people. So follow this thing up, just follow it up, and you see that you just develop yourself in different ways. You start thinking in a different way. Like it works like magic. I don't know how to say it, but it works like magic. You just start thinking in a different way from someone else that is beside you. You start managing your time better. You start, when you're online, you are looking for something different from someone that is just online doing something else. So it has its own advantage. That's how I'm going to end this, my own part of this discussion. I don't know if there's any other question or any stuff to add in. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think on a final note, maybe before we go, we'll ask our big madam, she just came into the room.
Yeah,
Mrs. Princess. By the way, today is her marriage anniversary. And
oh, wow.
we all want to say very big congratulations to you and your husband, your dear husband, and we wish you many, 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 many more years of bliss if Jesus tarries. Congratulations. Okay, so perhaps you will have a word for us before we depart. Then after that, we'll simply ask our guests to maybe say a final word or two in like a minute and tell us about where we can reach him, his social media handles, where he can be contacted. So with that, I think that's it from me. Thank you very much for joining us today. Over to Mrs. Princess.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, all from here. Sorry for joining late. I'm just coming back from church, and
This is actually night here. This is like past 9.
This is 19 minutes after 1 p.m. So I know the time difference is too much. So sorry. We're just. Huh?
Please go ahead.
So we are grateful for the prayers and everything. I don't really know how the discussion went, but I believe with the best brains, it went really well. And I also heard him saying something just now that applying for scholarships help you, even if you don't get it at that immediately you started applying, at least there are some things it is going to do in your life. It's going to help in the way you write, in the way you see things, in the way you communicate, in many aspects of your life. And I believe with that, you might even, maybe, let me assume you've applied before and it didn't work out. It might even help you to know your career path, because you've seen so many things and you've been asked questions in the interview. So it encompasses many things, and I believe everything here, it's going well. I just want to drop a brief information before I hand over to the person in charge. So on Saturday, I don't know the date of Saturday, I think it should be 8th of this month. On Saturday, we'll be having webinar for undergrad scholarship. That's scholarship for undergrad studies, not graduate studies this time around, in the US. Yeah, for undergrad studies in the USA. And we're going to be bringing our colleagues here who came in here via undergraduate studies, and they'll be telling us the opportunities and things you need to start gathering now, because I've been seeing questions coming up on how to go about it. And we believe by Saturday, not going to be on Sunday, we are giving it Saturday because that's when our personnel is going to have the time to host this. So on Saturday, the time will come with the flyer. So just keep tuned and know when the thing comes up, both on the WhatsApp, in the Twitter, wherever it's being posted. And please don't forget to start now. Everything you are listening to, everything you're gathering, don't wait for the time which you don't know when it is going to be. Start now to pursue whatsoever because now everything, the vibes and everything is fully in you, and you are really encouraged. Start now that you heard it. Don't wait for when everything in you is now weak to begin. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Amaneku. Thank you for the great job. Thank you, Juan Naedo. I appreciate you truly.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again. All right, we are going to have a final word from our guest, like I said, and then please let us know where we can contact you on social media. I believe many persons will want to be in touch with you. And as well, very wonderful initiative, the idea of having a session for undergraduate scholarships. I think a lot of persons have asked questions regarding that in the past couple of weeks. So thank you for that that initiative. So over to you, Mr. Goswibo.
Yeah. First of all, let me appreciate our madam, like you called her. Yeah, and also congratulate her. I remember I'm even surprised. Like it looks like it just seems like yesterday. I remember traveling from Kogi to Enugu State for the wedding last year, and then today I'm here. It's already 1 year. Like, I was actually shocked, but I'm also happy. I'm happy. Congratulations, and I want to like appreciate everyone for this opportunity to at least have this kind of discussion, to see Nigerian and African faces. Yeah, it's always nice, and also to just give whatever my own views, what I see. Like it's what I see. It's not like this may not be the exact standard, but I think it's my experience, and I think my experience is also valid. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. Yeah, and good luck to everyone. Success.
Thank you, sir. Where can we reach you?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I have like I'm actually on almost every social media platform. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on WhatsApp, definitely. I'm on LinkedIn. Yeah, but unfortunately, my names are not, like my display names are not the same everywhere. Yeah, but I think if you search God's Favor, Chibueze, Amanekwe, or in whatever permutation you take, you should be able to see me pop out. And then the last picture I showed on my slide is what you are most likely to see as my profile picture. So maybe just by knowing my name, I think the name is unique enough. I don't think I've seen anybody answering this name. So, just search.
All right.
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine. I think you could also drop some of the links on the group chat.
Definitely. Yeah, that makes it easier. While I also try to organize my social media to be one name. Yeah, as our madam has suggested to me before. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Bro Bright has been raising his hand. So please, I think he has a word for us in 1 minute. You can unmute yourself. Yeah. We still can't hear you. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to thank our guest today in a special way. And I still want to let him know that he's owing me 1 bottle of beer for not letting me know that he has already migrated away from Nigeria. At least the last time I communicated home, I wanted to put him through some scholarship opportunities. I didn't know that he has already been working towards that even beforehand. So that's all I need to say. He's owing me, what's the name again? Chief Priest, you're owing me 1 bottle. Okay?
It's all right. You will settle your score behind the camera.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we'll call it a day at this point. Thank you all for joining us on today's session. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday, as many as we need to be part of that session as well. Or if you know people that have need of this particular opportunity we are coming up with on Saturday for undergraduate scholarships, please begin now to inform them. Like Mrs. Princess said, the flyer will be out as soon as possible, I believe in the first few days of the week. So begin now to let people know, and we look forward to having them on Saturday.